This is part 2 of the Week 1 Zoom archive. In this video, I will specifically talk about your location research assignment. This is when you really dive into your mini doc and your pitch paperwork that you started last month and you finished in Week 1. For this assignment, I want you to research 3 of the locations that you would like to use for your mini doc. These locations can be where the interviews will be taking place or locations that you want to use for B-roll. It can even be a backup location that you might want to use if one of your other locations fall through. Regardless, you must have 3 locations. Now, when I say a location, you can also use what is called a company move. For example, if one of your locations is your own home, you can have one location be your kitchen and another location be your backyard. A company move is simply when you turn off your camera, pick it up, move all your lighting gear, and set everything up somewhere else. That is now a completely different location. If it helps at all, you can kind of think of it in terms of a play. When the curtains close or when a spotlight goes to another area of the stage, that is a location change. I supply all of you 3 blank location information sheets and 3 blank location agreement forms. I need to receive all 6 forms filled out back and signed. For the location information sheet, this must be filled out in its entirety. When it comes to the shooting days, it is okay to put in A if you do not know, because you will not be shooting until next month. This is important paperwork that must be completed before you start filming. This is why I was very clear that you will not be filming at all during this month's class, because you legally should not be on set filming until this paperwork is filled out. In the top right, you will see the word scripted location, and then on the left, you will see actual location. This confuses a lot of students, and I will explain why. The scripted location is where you want it to look like you are. Now, sometimes the scripted location can be the same as the actual location. For example, if you want it to look like you are filming in a living room, you would put living room on the scripted location. In the actual location, you would put the address of where you actually are. Now, sometimes this will be the same location and sometimes it's not. For example, if you want your scripted location to look like you're walking down the street of New York, but you can't do that, your scripted location would say a street in New York City, but the actual location could be a street out front of your house. So you would put that address in the actual location. Now when it comes to the contact section of this sheet, this is where you write who you spoke with to see whether or not you can access the location. Sometimes you will find that you have a lot of redundant information on your forms. Please know that that will not always be the case. So let's say that 2 of your locations are within your own home. So for scripted location, you would put kitchen. Actual location, you would put your home address. Under contacts, for owner, if you own your own home, you would put your name and then the same address that you had just put under actual location. And then for location information sheet 2, Let's say you are using your own backyard. So for the scripted location, you would have backyard. For the actual location, you would once again have your address. Under contact, you would once again have your name and your address. So you may find that a lot of these forms, depending on your locations, could be redundant, and that is okay. But it is important to know how to fill this out because that will not always be the case. The checklist at the bottom, you must check only what you need. All of you should have at least the location agreement checked, which is the very first one on the list, because all of you will need a location agreement. The exception to this are public parks. More often than not, a public park does not require a permit or an agreement form. Now, it is your responsibility to call your local park and rec office and list them as a representative in the contact section. Under the rep section, you would put company, Parks and Rec, and their phone number. You need to call and find out that you do not need a permit or agreement form at your local park if that is where you want to film. If you do find out that you do not need an agreement form, then you simply won't include it in this assignment. If you don't need it, don't worry about it. But it is your responsibility to find out if you need one or not. There are 2 blank boxes at the end of each of these sheets. These 2 boxes must be filled with a photo of your location from Google Earth. I will only accept a photo from Google Earth, not Google Maps, not Google itself, not a personal photo that you took. I want aerial, topographical photos. I want to see roads. I want to see aerial views. I want you to know that you have researched what is surrounding your location. Please note that Full Sail does not offer insurance to online students. If you find a location that requires a permit and insurance, that has to be out of pocket to you. How you get around this is figuring out how to use another location that has what you want or that you can set dress to look like what you want. So you do not need a permit or insurance. You will need to research whether a permit is needed for your locations. If a permit is needed, then I want you to fill out a permit application for that location, which you will find probably on the city's website. Do not actually submit the application in my class. That can be done next month if one is needed. Or if you know for sure that you will be filming there and you are confident that you can afford the application fee on out of pocket, then go ahead and do that. If a permit is not needed, then you need to give me a statement. I need a statement for each of your locations, even if 2 of your locations are within your same home or within the same hotel, because the statement is individual to your scripted location, not to the mailing address. So I want you to tell me what you need instead of a permit. And I have 6 questions that I want answered for each statement for each location. If you don't need a film permit, do you need a vehicle permit? Do you need a non-filming permit? Which means, do you need a permit to park a large vehicle someplace other than where it is you are filming? Do you need to use road space and you need a permit? Kind of like how food trucks can park on roads, they need a permit to be there. Do you need to hire security? Do you need a catering service? Do you have access to public restrooms? And do you have noise restrictions? Some of these may seem a little common sense, but when you find this location and you are excited and you find this wonderful spot in the middle of this state park, and then you get there and you realize, how am I going to feed myself and my crew, and what happens if someone needs to use the restroom? What are you going to do? So these questions are supposed to make you think about what you need to have in place before you start filming. So who do you contact to know if you need that agreement form, if you need that permit, if you can even get to where it is you want to go? If it is an outdoor location, the best place to contact is your State Film Commission office. This is who you contact if you want to film at a skate park, at a outdoor location on a street. Failing that, you might want to contact your county or city clerk's office if it's a hotel, for example, just to find out how you would go about finding permission to film there. Or you can contact the physical site itself, the school, the hotel, the office, or the owner who owns a location that you want to be at. You can also call your Parks and Rec office if it is a state or local park. Failing everything, contact your local sheriff's office at the non-emergency number. Because if you are someplace you are not supposed to be and someone calls the cops on you, they are going to ask you for your permit information to prove that you are allowed to be there. And if you do not have one, it can be considered as trespassing. So make sure that you know for a fact that you can film in the middle of the street without closing it down, that you can film in the parking lot of a mall, that you can film in a public park with children around. I provide 3 location agreement forms. These must be signed before you can start filming. The agreement form says that the owner is giving you the right to use what you capture for your own use, and that the owner understands that they will receive no other forms of payment from you for the use of this footage or photography. This agreement makes it so that the owner cannot demand compensation from you months or years later. So this is very, very important, and this needs to be signed by the owner's hand. And what I mean by that is you cannot type the person's name and then just change the font. If you do not have a printer or a scanner, then you need to send those to someone through DocuSign or through Adobe Fill-In Sign. And then they can do their own electronic signature. So overview, this is listed in the assignment. I break down exactly what you need and how much points everything costs. So I need those 3 location information sheets. I need either a permit application, filled out permit application for your intended location, or a statement. Now, if you do want to film 2 company move locations within the same restaurant, and let's say that restaurant does require a permit, you can submit 1 permit application for that restaurant. That is completely fine. I will know from reading your assignments that 2 of your locations are within this restaurant, and that 1 restaurant needs a permit. You also need your 3 signed location agreement forms. If it turns out that the night before this assignment is due, you still have not been able to get a hold of someone, please contact me. I do not want you to not submit this assignment only because you are missing one signature. If it comes down to it and all you need is that one signature, please contact me. Email is the best and quickest way to get a hold of me. I am not in my office on Full Sail campus every single day, so please email me. My office hours are Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. and Thursdays from 10 to 11 a.m. I am usually in my email and can respond very quickly should you email me. All other times, I do respond rather quickly through email. So please contact me if you need any questions answered.